slightly more light-hearted, let's say. Essentially, this subreddit that I found is called TIFU, which stands for Today I F'd Up. And I found it a couple of weeks ago, and basically people anonymously confess instances recently where they've messed up, and some of these stories, like the ones I read a few weeks ago, they are absolutely hilarious. So I figured it would be a pretty good ASMR video. I mean, this video might not be original, it might exist somewhere, I've just never seen it, but I thought it would be a good video to look at these, and it's a nice break from what really are quite disturbing, scary stories. Definitely more light-hearted, so I really hope you enjoy this video, you find it entertaining as well as relaxing. But I reckon let's get into the first one. Okay, so this story is titled DIFU by not going to the toilet at sick form/college. Okay, just for some context, my therapist said posting this somewhere anonymously might help me move on/accept/forget what happened, because I was so upset about it. This happened last week, and whilst it's still so embarrassing, I guess in a way it's funny now, since this could happen to anyone. Also, no, I've never booed myself before this, apart from as a child, which is why I was so upset. So on Tuesday, I'm in college 9 till 4, so I can't just not eat until I get home like I usually do to avoid needing the toilet whilst at college. I ate McDonald's at around 11:30, and by 12, I needed to poo. I'm changing the rude words to poo. This was even worse because I had no lessons until 2, but not enough time to go home and poo and get back in time since I live pretty far away. I'm far too awkward to poo in a public toilet, but as we're walking around, my stomach is starting to really hurt and I keep on having to fart. As we were walking back to college, it's starting to get unbearably bad, and now my friends are starting to notice me acting weird. At this point, I start looking for toilets, but as I only just started college in September, I didn't know anywhere, so I just said that I feel sick and I'm going to go home. I panic and literally waddle to the nearest bus stop, where one of my other friends was. So of course she starts talking to me and then sits next to me on the bus. I try to stay calm and hope this feeling of urgency will pass, but it literally started coming in waves of pain and stomach cramps. Now the embarrassing part. Around 15 minutes later, we are halfway to the bus station, and this absolutely horrible feeling came on that I just couldn't hold it in. I hadn't pooed myself, but my body sort of involuntarily pushed, and it was like poking out, which felt absolutely horrible. It smelled so bad, and the worst part was it was slightly touching my underwear, so I had to awkwardly hover over my seat. I'm sat there overthinking, feeling like I'm about to have a panic attack because I feel like I can't hold it in any longer. And at this point I'm texting my friend, who sat literally next to me, saying we need to just get off the bus because I need the toilet. And she starts laughing because of the smell. So I got off and she followed me. Now people in the street are all staring at me because I literally keep grabbing my bum through my jeans and I'm walking like I've pooed myself. I'm in tears from how bad my stomach hurt, whilst my friend is almost crying laughing at me, and I just knew I wasn't gonna make it to the nearest toilet. I just stood still out of desperation and started to fully poo myself, and I physically couldn't stop it. It felt absolutely disgusting, especially because I had to walk to some toilets. It was so bad that a literal bird slid down my leg and onto the floor in public. I cleaned up as best I could, threw my undies in the bin and tried to hide the stain on my jeans with my coat. Then I got the bus home and probably got it all off me in the shower before throwing the jeans and socks away. TLDR. If you need to poo, don't try waiting until you get home, because sometimes you just can't. And that story was submitted by All Sorts ASMR. That was a bit of a disgusting story to start off. Let's move on to another. This one is titled TIFU, by telling my zookeeper girlfriend not to worry so much about her hygiene. I've been dating this woman for a few months now, and honestly we get along really well. About a month ago, I met her for dinner one night at a semi-fancy restaurant around 6 p.m. She arrived a little bit late and was really apologetic, saying, "Oh gosh, sorry, I probably smell so funky right now. I tried my best to wash and scrub, but I know it wasn't enough." She was pretty stinky. She works as an animal caretaker at the zoo and had to stay late that night, so I understood. That night was the first night I really noticed her stinking of animals. It was strong at the same table, something between old fish and a ferret cage, yuck, and rather unappetizing, but not the sort of thing you could smell across the room, so I saw no reason it should ruin the dinner. So I tried to reassure her and said, "Oh, no you don't." She said, "Oh, don't lie. There's no way I smell okay right now." So I said, I guess there's a slight smell, but it just shows you worked hard. I've never been one of those weak-stomached guys who's going to complain about that. I really don't mind, honest. I'm used to animal smells anyway. To my surprise, her eyes lit up and she said, "Wow, really, you're serious? That's so reassuring to hear," and started opening up about how hard it was to make sure she always smelled good, that she'd often have to scrub for half an hour after work to even be somewhat presentable, and sometimes that wasn't enough. Changes of clothes and boots, that she had to sometimes pick which days to schedule dates with me or run errands based around her off days, or which animal she'd be working with that day to make sure the stink wasn't too bad. I said, "Wow, I had no idea it was that tough." I asked how other keepers dealt with it, and she said most were single or dated within the profession, and it was rare to find someone like me who genuinely didn't mind. So I reassured her that yeah, she doesn't need to be overly concerned about that with me. I could tell it meant a lot to her. But I think this turned out to be a big mistake. Over the past month, we've seen each other more often, and she's usually smelled okay. But there have been 4 or 5 occasions where she smelled horrible. 10 to 20 times worse than that night in the restaurant. These have been house dates and not at restaurants, etc. I have to breathe lightly to even try to stomach it, and it really kills my mood and leaves my house reeking. TLDR. Told my girlfriend she didn't have to worry about her smell so much. She took it as a major green flag due to her line of work. Now, I either have to really let her down, or resign myself to living in olfactory hell. Oh gosh. Oh, that's a really tricky one, isn't it? Oh dear. The top rated comment says, "So what I'm hearing is that once you're nose blind, you can have your pick of hot zookeepers." Nice. Okay. Oh yeah, that is such a difficult situation. Maybe she won't be a zookeeper forever. specific story, so it doesn't really help that it's done anonymously, because I'm pretty sure if she read that she would clock on, surely. Today, I effed up by accidentally hooking up with my former youth pastor. Anyway, now on to the next Reddit story. No, I'm joking. Okay. So this actually happened about a month ago, but I needed to recover mentally first. Understandable. I, age 24, temporarily moved back home for summer after graduating college. One night I was bored and I went on Tinder. I matched with an older guy, 37, but he was pretty good looking, and we actually got along well. So next day we decided to meet up. I felt like I recognised him from somewhere, but it's a fairly small town, so I didn't think much of it. We meet up at a local bar, and well, one thing led to another, and we ended up doing the deed in the back of his car. I was leaving the next week, so I didn't really care what happened. Next day is the only Sunday my mum has had off since I've been there, and she wants us all to go to church. Guess who's doing the sermon that day? He immediately recognised me, and we make awkward eye contact for a second. Then it hits me. He was my youth pastor. I hadn't seen him in almost a decade. I have no idea if he knew who I was right away or not. I'd rather not know. I left in a hurry after the service. Oh, and I found out later he was married, so there's that. TLDR, what does TLDR stand for? Today's lesson or something. I was bored and went on Tinder. I matched to an older guy and we hooked up. Found out the next day he was my old youth pastor. Oh, is it just like a summary at the end? I see. I mean, it's a really good point about her saying, I'd rather not know if he knew who she was like beforehand, because he would have been her youth pastor when she was 14. So yeah, gets a little bit dodgy there. But yeah, that's not really an ideal situation, is it, to say the least. Okay, this story has 6,200 upvotes. Today, I effed up by playing musical statues with my daughter and her friends. So my daughter, age 3, is starting to make friends in the new area we've moved to. We've been here about a year, but she's not really been old enough to go out and play in the street yet. They're a great group of kids. They mostly get on great, minus the usual childhood-based tantrums. The one she sees the most is Sarah, aged 5. Sarah lives just a couple of doors down, and they are constantly in and out of each other's houses. My daughter met a lot of kids on the street through Sarah, so it's been a bountiful friendship for her. Today, a bunch of about 6 of them were playing in our garden. They were doing the usual stuff, playing on the trampoline, playing football, chasing each other, etc. Eventually, I suggested a game of musical statues. When you dance while the music plays, when it stops, you freeze. Everything was going okay, and I started letting the kids pick their favourite songs to play. We got the usual fare of Disney song demands, nothing that unexpected, until Sarah. She asked for Let's Get Down to Business, which YouTube has clarified for me as Tiesto the Business. Let's get down to business. To be honest, I hadn't heard the song before, and because I was starting and stopping it, I didn't really pay attention to the lyrics. Later, I walked the girls around the block and took them home. I have no idea where this story's going. When I got to Sarah's house, her parents asked me in for a coffee and a chat about what they'd got up to. I filled them in and told them about musical statues as well. I asked Sarah, how did you know that song? I haven't heard it before. Before anyone else could talk, she said without skipping a beat, Mummy and Daddy play it in their room when they lock their door. It's loud. No. There is no way. There's no way. It took a minute for the penny to drop for me, but Sarah's mum's face going red sped the process along quickly. I hurriedly bundled my daughter out, and when I told my wife about it, she laughed her arse off at my misfortune as I laughed/despaired into my hands. TLDR, a game of musical statues with the kids, revealed the music that my neighbours like to do the deed to. Oh my gosh. Well, that is an incredible story. Oh, can you imagine how embarrassed Sarah's parents would have been? Oh my gosh. I'd pay good money to have been in the room when, as the writer says, the penny dropped. That is too good. That is too good. Today, I effed up by trying to step off a moving treadmill in a running shop. Okay. I'm running my first full marathon in October to commemorate my 50th birthday and raise money for the adoption agency that united me with a little boy in 2018. I decided to treat myself to a pair of real running shoes from Hanson's running shop in Royal Oak. An associate brought out a pair of Brooks Glycerin GTS 20. After I walked up and down the store aisle, she tells me I can try them on the treadmill at the back of the store. To which I reply, really, that would be awesome. Note that I do not typically run on treadmills due to my admittedly irrational hatred of them. I cranked up the machine to 8.5, whatever that means, realised that was a bit too fast, and pressed the off button. After 30 seconds it was gradually slowing down. 8.3, 8.1, 7.8, WTF, just stop already. So I'm thinking to myself, really experienced runners must have a cool way to just ride off of the back of these things. And so, I tried. I slowed my pace just a little so I was running almost at the back of the treadmill deck. Then I tried like a 90-degree turn, expecting to casually complete the 180 as I glided on the floor. Wrong. Instead, my feet were thrown off the back while my upper body slammed down onto the treadmill deck. As it pushed me toward the end, I tried to regain my balance to stand, but that made me roll over back onto the treadmill, which triggered my reflex to balance, which made me roll over and repeat like an old rag in the dryer. As this was happening, I felt compelled to call out, "It's me, it's me," as though the store associates might be wondering, what was that banging sound? Perhaps I should investigate. But upon hearing my assurances of "it's me," would go back about their business and spare me the embarrassment of acknowledging what I had done. A few seconds after I stood up, the associate appeared and asked if I was okay. I said yes, but then noticed a line of blood on my baby blue shorts and realised my left little finger was bleeding. I quickly cupped my hand to catch and tried to hide the blood from dripping. As the associate tried to remount a running magazine cover I'd knocked off the wall, she asked if I liked the shoes. I told her I think I need a wide. And later, when she asked if I wanted to try a different pair of shoes on the treadmill, I answered, I just don't think I run the same on a treadmill as I do outside. To exit as coolly as possible, I purchased a full pair of Hoka Clifton 8 10.5 wide. And no, they don't fit properly. And hell to the no, I ain't going back. That's pretty good. I like the pride, or not pride, the stubbornness of not going back out of principle of you being embarrassed. stickers in my phone case. And I'm going to make this the last story. I think if you do enjoy this video, then please do give it a like and let me know down in the comments if you'd like a second episode, because there are plenty we could read. But this final story, TIFU, by putting anime stickers in my phone case. For reference, my friends last year came into school with a lot of, how do I say this, provocative anime girl stickers. We all laughed our asses off while shuffling through all of them, each one of us stealing a couple from the pile. Now, I didn't want my family or any teachers to see my new stash, so I slipped off my phone case and put the stickers in along with a drawing a friend has made me, and a sweet note from another friend I had in there, and closed my phone back up. Fast forward a year or two to today. This morning I was a bit frazzled due to other school obligations, causing me to be pretty careless with my phone, leaving it behind. I only realised this halfway through my 4th period after I had some time to kill, wanting to pull out my phone and mindlessly scroll as I waited to be dismissed. Of course, I couldn't find it in the typical pouch I leave it in, or anywhere in my bag after dumping everything out. Confused, I went back onto my laptop and used Google's Find My iPhone feature to try and figure out if I maybe left it on the bus or in a previous class. After realising it was in the same building as my locker, I sighed out of relief, as I had been at my locker that morning. I would just go to my locker quickly before heading to the cafeteria. I only had another period after this one, not too bad of a wait. I was only about 30 minutes into my class period before lunch when I received a very ominous email from the school's dean. I believe I have located your phone. Please come to the dean's room to retrieve it. Of course, I sort of started to panic, as I thought it was in my locker. Apparently it wasn't, and now our school's dean had it. My mind kept jumping to the same question. How do they know this was my phone? I have a pretty generic lock screen with a passcode, and nothing on my case indicates whose phone this is. After retrieving my phone, I turned it on to check any new notifications I had. I then turned my phone over, noticing a change. That drawing my friend had drew of me typically poked out of the camera hole a bit, leaving a white strip of paper just under the camera. Confused, I popped off my phone case and noticed the trinkets inside had been mixed around, including those nifty anime stickers. The dean had seen those stickers, those nifty old stickers. That's not ideal. So the dean probably thinks this kid is into sexy pictures of anime girls, which, you know, each to their own. Different strokes for different folks and all of that. But yeah, it's not ideal to have that reputation with the dean of your school. But yeah, I think that is going to do it for this video. I think this is between 20 and 30 minutes. As I said, do let me know if you enjoyed this. There will be a scary Reddit stories video in like 3 or so weeks. I think I'm doing it for Halloween. But if you'd like to see the return of TIFU stories, because there's so many, then do let me know down below in the comments. There are some other Reddit subreddits which I might make some videos on, so let me know. You can suggest some down below if you are a Reddit expert or user. I never use Reddit apart from to film these videos. But yeah, everybody, I think that is going to do it for this video. If you did